Alright, here we are. It's another wonderful day. And oh look, I've gone to the trouble of moving to a new field for all of you people who are going to sit here and actually watch this pointless footage while I rant in the rain. Yeah, that's right. We go outside in the rain here on this channel. We're special. Yeah, that's how you know this channel is super trustworthy and absolutely worth your time. Because when was the last time you saw any YouTube influencer go out in the rain? Yeah, that's right. I'm super legit. So, just min-maxing my Minuteman skills. Oh yeah. We rainin' fools. You know what it says, if it ain't raining, you ain't training. Well, here we go. So anyways, for my bitching in the rain fest, today I want to talk a little bit about mission identification and how that plays into people selecting or thinking about what they're going to select when it comes to their gear and equipment. And I right now am kind of doing this little rant because, it's more or less a case of, have you ever been so annoyed at people on the internet you've gone outside in the rain to make a rant? It's pretty much the long and short of it. So, anybody who hangs out on the internet for any amounts of time knows that you've got just like an endless parade of, well, to be frank, morons that can't figure out how to use the search button, or Google, or YouTube, or literally anything that would get them information for how to even select what equipment they want to use, or that they think they want to use. And they all come on, various forums or Reddit or whatever, and they're like, what gear should I get for this? What plate carrier do I need for shit's the fan? What belt should I get? And, the usual parade of questions that have just been done to death 1,001 times already before. But apparently, these people not only don't know what they want, but can't use the internet for 5 seconds. And like many people that have been doing this for a long time, it's easy to write these people off as morons. And to be fair, most of them are. Yeah, I said it. But the other half of it that I've noticed that I want to speak to a little bit here is people simply just don't know what they're even looking for because they don't know what they need. And they don't know what they need because they haven't thought about it. I know, that sounds like some sort of motivational speaker, secrets of the universe guru shit. It's not. It's very simple, okay? Most of the people asking these questions, it's the same thing with the other people. You get them, and they've got some sort of setup going on, and they're like, okay, what do I put in my GP pouches? And I'm like, bro, what do you think you put in them? If you didn't know what you were going to put in them, and didn't think you had a use for them, why did you buy them in the first place? It's almost like there's this, the majority of people that I see online asking for help with their gear, it's like they just went out and bought shit off just sheer recommendation of what other people told them to buy. And that's it. They just bought it. They didn't actually think about it. They just went out and bought it. They have no idea what they've got. They don't know why they got it. They just got it. And then they put it all together, and then they're like, okay, what do I do with it now? It's like, bro, don't you know? Didn't you have a theory in mind for what you bought and why you set it up this specific way? And I realize that it's not the fact that these people are necessarily morons, it's that they just haven't thought about it. What do I mean by that? So, there's an old quote by some famous Chinese guy that I'm going to totally butcher right now. The long and short of it is something like, there are 3 ways to gain knowledge. The first is by experience, which is bitterest. The second is by imitation, which is easiest. And the third is by reflection, which is noblest. Or something like that. It occurs to me very much that people don't think about anything when it comes to this stuff. And what do I mean by that? So, You're going to hear ad nauseum over and over again, mission drives the gear, Met TC, all that stuff that we hear regurgitated over and over again. And this also, too, becomes a thing that people just, they regurgitate without actually, like, what does it mean? Mission drives gear. I want to talk about that for a second here because that is the key. If you're a new person looking at gear, this is the key that's going to drive not only what you purchase, but how you set it all up. If you haven't spent some time reflecting on what you think is going to be your most likely use cases for that gear before you've even typed a question on the internet, you're doing it wrong. All right, don't even start going out there going, what plate carrier do I buy? What belt do I get? Before you've sat the fuck down in your living room or outside under a bush or whatever suits you best. Sit down and just think about what you want your gear to do. What is going to be your most likely use case? Is it going to be like, I mean, come on, let's be fair. All right, we're all civilians in the United States or some other relatively peaceful Western country. Like, we're not going to war tomorrow. And so, you know, most of our shit is, unfortunately, it's going to see most of its use at the range. Or at some, you know, event, training class, etc., whatever. But then, on top of that, you need to think, okay, most people are also getting this gear because of the potential for a future conflict, whatever variation of it you think is going to happen. And that's the key right there, because you can pretty much get away with anything if you're just going to go to the range back and forth, and you like wear whatever the fuck you want. But if you're thinking about this from a I might need to actually use this someday perspective, that's where you need to do a little bit of self-reflection. Because you need to think about, okay, where do I live? Who do I know? What are the people like around me? What is my, you know, terrain like? Do I live in a city? Do I live in the country? Like, you know, like currently, like what we're going through right now in the gear space is a little bit of a, you know, the whole recce fad. And that's great. You know, getting out and learning to patrol and stuff is a great skill. But if you live in fucking suburbia, I mean, let's be honest. Are you really going to be putting on a, you know, pack and patrolling around your local park? Like, no, of course not. So now you need to think, okay, I need to tailor my gear load to that, but I also see a lot of people that are like, yeah, I live in a neighborhood, and then they've got this, like, you know, chest rig loadout with a pack and, you know, a fucking 20-inch rifle, and I'm like, bro, what are you doing? You know, or they come on there and they're like, I don't know what to get. What do I do? And they're like, the next thing you gotta do is you gotta follow through with these people and be like, okay, what do you think you need? Where do you live? What do you want to do with your gear? Because on top of that too is, you need to like, it's a difficult thing because on the one hand you're thinking, oh, I need this gear for, you know, a potential, you know, insert combat, civil unrest, whatever situation you might think might happen in the near future. But it's very easy to also get caught up in a lot of the hype beasting and fear mongering and shit that goes on online, and that I think drives people's expectation of what they think they need versus, you know, coming back down to reality a little bit and being like, all right, maybe I don't actually need, you know, a whole fucking armored, you know, SUV and the whole nine. you know what I mean by that. So that's basically the big failure that I see with people trying to, you know, pick their shit out, especially newcomers to this thing. Good God, like, you know, there's certain. It's fun to hang out on like some of the Reddit, you know, pages and stuff. You know who you are. And it's just like every day there's a never-ending parade of first-timers. What plate carrier should I pick? I swear to fucking God, if you go on there and Google what plate carrier should I pick, there's just hundreds, if not thousands, of the exact same thread over and over and over and over. I get it. People don't know shit, but you can take a little shortcut into knowing things by Number one, using the internet, because everything you're asking has been done to death 1,000 times. Same thing as the people that are like, what should I put in my IFAQ? Well, I mean, it's the same shit that's been put in IFAQs for, well over a decade now. Like, come on. If you have to ask that question, on a page, it's like, what are you even doing? The second thing you can do that is going to help you greatly once you start to, go out and do some research on the internet, look at some YouTube videos and stuff, and start to look at what's out there and think, I kind of like this, I kind of like that, so forth and so on. Now you can look at what these things that you think you like and start plugging it into what you also know about both your current and projected future situations. So once you start doing that, you'll start to go, oh, okay, I can kind of rule this out. I can rule that out. Or, well, actually, maybe I really do need this thing over here. And once you start to do those things, then that's when to go out and ask your questions. Because now you have things to compare with. You have a selection of gear that you're saying, oh, okay, now I'm just looking at option A or option B, and now I just need to find out if option A or B is better for me or is a quality item. If you're wondering why you're going out and asking questions and receiving endless mockery for doing so, usually it's because you didn't do one of the two above things. And you asked a question that was so, to be blunt, inane and moronic, that it amuses people because we don't know how to help you. And that's, the main takeaway I want you guys to take away from this rambling nonsense of, 11 and a half minutes you've been watching so far. The very important key, aside from your mission dictating your gear, is that nobody on the internet can help you if you're not specific about what you want. If you just come on the internet and you're like, which plate gear do I get? I mean, even start with, who am I? Are you, half the time, it's half of these guys are civilians. Half of them are actually in jobs that they need the thing for. So it's kind of like one of those things where, how am I supposed to help you if I don't know who you are or what you want it for? If you can't answer that extremely simple question right off the bat, I mean, the only thing you're going to get is mockery and denigration. So, I think I've made my point, more or less, now. If you found this useful, I'll have you know that by now I'm sure I have a whole 7 subscribers, and you should definitely join that number and make it an even 8, so I can feel special about myself. Alright, anyways, I hope you guys have a great week, and better luck to you using a more informed system to influence your gear purchases. Thanks for watching, or listening, or taking a dump on a toilet while you do this, whatever.